Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen.
And my name is Katie. And we want to spend a few minutes a day with you walking through the New Testament, one chapter at a time. This year, we will fix our gaze upon Christ so that we may know him, not only with our minds, but with our hearts.
Together, we will learn that who Jesus is changes everything. Welcome back to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen Schmucker, and we are in Luke 21 today. As a reminder, I'm using the Behold studies from the Daily Grace Co. as well as the free reading plan, and you can find all the information about those in the show notes. This chapter opens in the temple with Jesus observing the rich bringing their offerings to the temple treasury and a widow who brought 2 tiny coins as an offering to the Lord. In this account, we see another contrast in Luke's gospel. It would take the rich a while to pour their large offering into one of the temple's 13 offering boxes. But Jesus is drawn to the poor widow who comes with just 2 small coins. Those 2 coins meant more to him than all of the rest combined because of the heart that she brought them with. The rich came and gave out of their abundance, but this woman gave out of her poverty all that she had. She showed her devotion and trust in the Lord as she gave all that she had to him. This wasn't about dollars and cents to Jesus. It was about the heart of worship that this woman possessed. The widow's story takes up just a few verses in Luke's gospel and yet provides such a powerful message to us as we contemplate our own lives and offering to the Lord. The majority of this chapter is dealing with the temple and the signs to come. While the people around him were talking about the temple's beauty, Jesus predicted its destruction. The disciples wanted to know when it would take place. The temple was such a significant part of Jewish life at the time that it may have seemed like the end of the world to imagine the temple gone. Theologians interpret this passage in different ways. Jesus is answering the disciples' question about when the temple would be destroyed, an event that happened in AD 70. But in some places, he also seems to be addressing his second coming. And theologians don't always agree about when he's talking about one or the other, or if he's addressing both. Commentator Philip Ryken points out that Jesus gives 4 don'ts in this passage. Don't be led astray, don't be afraid, don't miss the opportunity to witness, and don't give up. These were good reminders for the disciples, and they are good reminders for us. Jesus doesn't directly answer the disciples' question of when the temple would be destroyed, and that is okay, because it was not for them to know. Instead, Jesus reminds them of how to live in the meantime. In a similar way, we don't know when Jesus will return, and that is okay, because it is not for us to know. Instead, Jesus shows us how to live in the meantime. Jesus speaks into the way the disciples felt in this moment. It is likely that you and I can relate to the way the disciples felt as we look at the culture around us. It is hard when the world seems uncertain. It is hard when we see some that claim to be believers speak falsely. These things can push our hearts to worry and anxiety. Though these things may tempt us to worry about our lives, as believers, we can look forward in hope for Jesus to return. We can read the last line of verse 28 with so much hope. Truly, our redemption is nearer right now than when you push play on this episode. Every moment of our lives is a moment closer to beholding Jesus face to face. The chapter ends with a message to watch and wait. The end may be near, but we have hope in Jesus Christ alone. Jesus tells a short parable of a budding fig tree. The smallest buds on the tree are a sign that a new season is coming. As I record these words, I can see out my office window tiny buds on bare trees signaling that spring is coming. The tiny buds represent the hope of what is to come. I imagine Jesus pointing to the fig tree as he told the parable. The buds on the tree are a promise of what is to come. God will do what he has said he will do. He will be faithful to his word. So the instruction is to watch and pray. Flee from sin, and don't let your hearts be weighed down by sin or by the worries of this life. Today we behold Jesus as the one worthy of giving everything for. We see him as the one who sees our hearts and draws near to us in love. We behold Jesus as the one who speaks words of comfort in uncertain times and calls us to depend on him even though we don't know what the path ahead may bring. We behold Jesus as the one who gives us promises of a new season ahead and a reminder that he will always be with us and keep his word. We behold him as the one who calls us not to be weighed down by the burdens of sin or the worries of this life, but to run to him alone.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. Don't forget to check out the show notes for helpful links and resources related to today's episode. And make sure you are following at Daily Grace Podcast on Instagram for more A Year in the Bible content, and at the Daily Grace Co. for all things Bible study resources. We can't wait to study again with you tomorrow. Bye, friends.